let's change tack because the most significant news across the racing world last week developed sort of Friday night our time when it was revealed that the trainer of the Kentucky Derby first past the post maximum security, Jason Service, had pleaded guilty to a whole range of charges that could result in a prison sentence of around 4 years. US racing journalist Alicia Hughes joins me on the line now. Alicia, first of all, I'm very grateful to you for getting up at an unearthly hour Eastern time. And
there are very few people that I would get up at this hour for that does not involve a major racing contender putting in a workout. So this speaks to I've always told you that you are one of my favorite people. Now you have tangible proof.
well, and I will return the favour. I absolutely promise you. Alicia, you've been one of the pretty small group of journalists who've been following this performance enhancing drug case right from its inception. It's taken so many twists and turns. Just tell us how we've arrived at Service pleading guilty.
Well, basically, and I have some notes because it's a little too early in the morning for me to kind of spitball off the top of my head. But for full disclosure, Robert Garrity was the pool reporter who was covering this case and the other cases for the major industry publications. And basically, Service was, he's part of that large group that had been indicted on the conspiracy to misbrand and adulterate performance enhancing drugs. He was basically the last defendant facing charges in that scheme. And so now I believe 21 of the 40 of the 31 have pleaded guilty. And he was actually scheduled to go to trial next month if he didn't take the plea deal where he would have been facing, I believe, up to about 25 years in prison. So this one, by doing the guilty admission, like I said, he's facing up to 4 years. I believe his sentencing is actually going to take place on what I think is Preakness Day, May 18th. So that should be interesting. And basically, he admitted to using the SGF 1000 drug that is believed to be a performance enhancing drug. He admitted to I said conspiring. He and Jorge Navarro, who himself is already serving a 5-year sentence. And quite frankly, it's really disgusting, to put it mildly. And I mean, we all know that that's kind of obvious, but the fact that I want to say first and foremost, one of the things I'm most grateful for in this case is that maximum security is actually alive. I'm grateful that he is alive. I'm grateful that horses like Chantelat and Sharp Azteca are alive, because not everybody made it out alive. XY Jet did not make it out alive in this case. So, he's facing some jail time. It could have been a lot more. It probably should be a lot more, but that's basically how we kind of arrived to this point. But he had been, like I said, he had been holding out on his guilty plea for some time now, and he was kind of the last domino to fall.
You make a very interesting point about the welfare of the horses involved and the extent to which these designer performance enhancing drugs are inherently dangerous and placing horses under serious physical stress. Has this case told us a lot more about that and given us a bit more evidence on a global scale in that sense?
I mean, it's yes and no. I mean, I obviously, I think everybody has kind of believed, especially with as it pertains to Navarro and Service. There had been whispers about those two for some time. And as well as I do, if you walk a backstretch for any length of time, you're going to find out what's up. And those two the rumors were very strong. And it wasn't there's a difference between what you know and what you can prove, which is why it took to this point. It took the feds getting involved. It took wiretaps to get the evidence needed to bring charges against everybody involved in this case. But what is really concerning is the fact that there is a lot of people who failed, a lot of humans who failed these horses across the board. There were some very obvious red flags with both of these trainers with regards to the numbers that they were putting up. And I actually pulled some figures just so you have I mean, for 2014, just at Monmouth, we're just looking at Monmouth Park, Navarro was winning at 27%, Service 29. 2015, Navarro 26, Service 25. I'm sorry, that was 2015. 2016, Navarro, 37%, service, 34%. 2017, Navarro, 41%, service, 31%. 2018, Navarro, 45%, service, 41. For comparison's sake, just so that anybody doesn't think, well, those are the winning figures of top trainers at meets. For comparison's sake, look at the winning percentages of Todd Pletcher and Chad Brown, who I think most people agree get the best of the best stock. They have 11 Eclipse Awards between them. Their win percentages at Saratoga, probably the most competitive meet in the country. 2016, Chad 24, Todd 21. 2017, Chad 24, Todd 24. 2018, Chad 27, Todd 15. 2019, Chad 23, Todd 18. 2020, Chad 19, Todd 23. So you're telling me, if you're looking at these numbers of what Navarro and Service were doing, specifically just at Monmouth, anybody who claims that they didn't know or that is either lying or was willfully ignorant. And there needs to be some culpability from the top down.
Now, there's been an interesting development in this case involving maximum security, Alicia, and that is that Gary and Mary West, who are the original owners of Maximum Security before they sold out an interest to the Coolmore partners, they have written a letter saying that they would be happy not to receive the prize money for the Saudi Cup win, and they would be extremely pleased if it was redistributed in the favour of the horse who finished second past the post. What was your reaction to that?
My reaction to that is I wish that there had been some actual condemnation of what Jason Service, their trainer, did, which I did not read that in that statement. I have not read that. I have not seen that. If there has been any, I have not seen that in any statement that they have put out. There was no, this is horrible, this is terrible. We absolutely do not condemn this behavior. We need to look in the mirror as owners and do our due diligence and do better. There was none of that in there. It was basically kind of a Captain Obvious statement of, yes, he is officially guilty now. Yes, he admitted specifically that Maximum Security was receiving performance enhancing drugs. So them basically giving Saudi Cup permission to distribute the purse, but they're not going to actually speak out and say, again, they need to look in the mirror and say, why did you give him the Jason Service? You see these numbers, they were red flags. Where is your, there was just no contrition there, and there was no even speaking to the well-being of the horse. And also, they just mentioned the Saudi purse. What about the other races he won? Where, are they gonna allow the Haskell purse to be redistributed? Are they gonna, what about his other races? Why just focus on the Saudi Cup?
Alicia, time is against me, but one final point. Several horsemen and trainers have spoken out in stark condemnation through this process. One of them is the normally pretty considered Shug McGahey. What's he had to say?
Shug, it actually, I posted the quote. It was actually a quote that TDN had gotten from him months ago when the indictments had come down, and Shug very strongly said, he blatantly said that he thought Jason Service was one of the biggest creeps that he had ever met in his life, and that he was glad at least that hopefully that the racing industry would not have to deal with these two again. And again, you feel for there's so many people who you feel for in this situation, again, starting with the horses first and foremost, but also trainers who, were going up against them, who knew that they weren't that they weren't facing a level playing field. And there's a lot of trainers who have to look back now, and if you're the trainer of Bodie Express, of what might have been, if you're I said races that could be on their horses' resumes that could have enhanced their own stud value, and those opportunities are gone. And we haven't even gotten into the, if you're a horse player, how do you feel that you've been, if you were playing, against them all these years, and again, knowing deep down that it wasn't on a level, but also knowing that nothing was being done about it. And again, until there's some repercussions from the top down, from management down, from the people who look the other way, who let it happen, then nothing's going to change. Like I said, it's bigger than these two. It's the system. We need to go after the system that allows this to happen, because people say it's not just them. You're right, it's not just them, but people will do what they get away with. And so this, like I said, management needs to focus really needs to take a hard look at itself in general and take hard steps to really crack down on this, because it hurts everybody, your customers, yeah, I said, all of your participants, and most of all your horses. It hurts them all.
Alicia, thanks so much, and thanks again for joining us at like 5:30 your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on your latest award. Well deserved.
You're very sweet. Thank you very much. Alicia Hughes talking to us about a very, very serious matter. And if that is as reticent and as hard as Alicia finds it at 5:30 in the morning, 9:30 she's just about warmed up. So.
Subscribe to Racing TV's YouTube channel now to watch more great races like this.